Nobody likes to talk about lawyers, but I wanted to make sure that you had an idea of what you can expect from the legal perspective when you start a small business. That's what we'll tackle on today's episode. Let's hop in. Hi, I'm LaShonda, host of the Bootstrap Biz Advice Show, where I teach you how to grow your biz without breaking the bank. Now, today's episode is part 3 in a series about how to start a business in a week. Part 1 was about your business idea. Part 2 was about your visual brand. Now, if you haven't watched those, feel free to hop back and watch those videos before this one, and also be sure to subscribe. By subscribing, you'll receive a notification when the rest of the videos in this series pop up on my channel. Now, before I hop into all that legal advice, I want to say I am not a lawyer. This information is my reflection on how I've interacted with the law since I've been an entrepreneur. But this does not replace having a lawyer. So I want to let you know at some point it is essential that you find a lawyer that you can meet with face to face, who you can talk to about your business and how you plan to interact with your customers. Because if you can get a lawyer on your side, if things go south, you will have someone who is willing to fight for you. So make sure that along the line, you work that into your budget. But as you start a business, I want you to just have a little perspective from my past experiences. So that's what we're going to do today. How to start a business in a week. Part 3, legal. Now, most people establish an LLC when they start their business. One thing that I didn't know when I started my first business was a CPA can actually set that up for you for 1/5 of what a lawyer will charge. So if you can think of anyone to put on your team when you start a small business, you want to make sure that you find a CPA. An accountant is going to make sure you don't get audited by the IRS, and also they'll know about all the deductions you need or all the taxes you should charge for what it is that you do. You don't want to worry about the stress of, did I do it the right way? Did I collect the right money? I really don't want the IRS to ask for back taxes that I can't afford. Make sure you have an accountant. They will keep you in the know, and that way you can focus on what it is that you do best. Now, another thing I learned is that when you establish an LLC, the person who creates it, the business, whether it's a lawyer or a CPA, their name will go on your business as the registered agent. So before your business comes up for renewal the next year, make sure that you go back in and make yourself the registered agent. That way, all that paperwork comes to you and you can take care of paying that renewal fee. A lawyer is going to charge you extra money for them having to take your mail and connect you with it. So just save yourself the heartache. Before your business comes up for renewal, make sure you change yourself as the registered agent. Number 2 is client contracts. One thing that I didn't know is that you can actually factor into your contracts collections. Now, if someone refuses to pay you, you shouldn't have to pay to collect money that's owed to you. But if you don't have that clause in your contract that that person has agreed to, you will have to pay to try to retrieve your money. So as you're sitting down with the lawyer, make sure that they include in your contracts something about collections so that if things go south, you're protected and you can have those costs covered by the person who just chose not to pay you. So that's the thing. Include that in your contracts and you'll save yourself a lot of money in the end. Number 3 is privacy policy and terms and conditions. We really overlook this section of most websites, but bigger companies will have this information at the bottom of a website so that you know exactly where your important information is being stored and being used. If you are selling online, you're collecting email addresses or credit card numbers, you want to make sure that you have those policies on your website. Privacy policy and terms and conditions. There are websites where you can generate these for free if you don't have the money to pay for a lawyer, but they're very important for you to include if you are interacting with people's personal identities. Super, super important. So if it's just a branding website, you can probably get away from it. But if you're collecting people's emails or you're collecting people's credit card information, you want to make sure that you have a privacy policy or terms and conditions. Your web designer should know how to get that done. The last thing I want to talk about is intellectual property, and this is simply copywriting or trademarking your materials so that someone down the line doesn't take ownership of your content and say it's theirs. I've heard stories about how entrepreneurs have created online courses and their students have ripped off their courses and sued the original course creator for the same content. If you do not have your stuff protected by law, this could happen to you. It has happened to a lot of people. So make sure that if you are selling a digital product and you really care about being able to protect yourself, if someone does choose to sue you or take your information and sell it as their own, then you want to pursue an intellectual property lawyer. Again, I am not that lawyer. I'm sure there is someone in your region who can help you with that specifically, but please keep that in mind in terms of your logos or your digital courses or your video content. Make sure you copyright or trademark that material so that you are protected if somebody else decides to try to make money off of the things that you've created. This even goes down to professional musicians who write their own music. Happens all the time that someone samples music without paying for the copyrights. So it's important that you make sure that you do your due diligence and protect your property by getting a lawyer on your side. So if you've never heard about intellectual property or intellectual property lawyers, that's the term that you should Google if you want to create a product that you care enough to put a copyright or trademark on. So I hope this was useful. Again, like I said, not a lawyer, but I want to give you a perspective of just kind of the business side of running a business. It's important to be passionate about what you're doing. It's important to connect with people who have a need, but you cannot overlook these essential things like contracts, having a legal business established, having your information copyrighted or trademarked. I mean, this stuff is essential if you are going to stand the test of time as a real business. You can't take this stuff for granted. So I hope this gives you an idea of kind of the backside of how things are done. But again, I'm not a lawyer, so please reach out to a lawyer near you for more specific information. Find an accountant who's going to know exactly what taxes you should or don't have to charge. Something as simple as photography and video. In the state of Virginia, you are required to charge sales tax on that digital product. There have been wedding photographers in this state who have been audited by the state and have to pay back taxes on photos that they gave to clients they never collected taxes on. Thousands of dollars because they did not put sales tax on their stuff. Maybe you didn't know that. Maybe you had a desire to take photos, but you didn't know that could happen. So I want to let you know you can't take that stuff for granted, because you just being naive is not going to be a good enough answer when the IRS comes knocking on your door. So if you feel like this stuff is over your head, hire a professional who interacts with this stuff every day. Start with the CPA, eventually add a lawyer, and you will be in good shape to run your business without being afraid of the law. So if you have not signed up for my Bootstrap Bootcamp, I want you to go ahead and click on the link in my description. This is a live class that I do every single week to teach people the top 10 things I wish I knew before I started a business and give people the opportunity to interact with me live and ask questions. So again, you can sign up by clicking on the link in my description. Feel free to subscribe to this channel if you like the content I'm producing. You can give this video a thumbs up to let me know you liked it. And feel free to ask any questions in the comments. Remember, if it's a law question, not a lawyer. But if it's just about branding or business, marketing, I can help you. So feel free to drop something in the comments. If I know the answer, I'll help you. If not, if it's over my head, I will tell you. and get you in contact with people that have helped me along the way. Until next time, ta-ta for now.